So you know how the saying goes, one day you're the cock of the walk, Jason, next day you're the feather duster.
That's never heard that saying before.
Well, I just told you.
Okay, did you
memorize it? No. I've heard it a few times. I feel like it's more of a British saying.
I feel like if I grew up in your household, right, and I didn't understand any of the cliches or the phrasing or the expressions, I would just be like, I don't know what you're saying.
These words. I mean, if you grew up in London.
Am I grounded or can I go out? Well, sometimes you're the cock of the walk and other times you're the feather duster. I'd be like, take out the trash?
Which it means that sometimes you are on an unbelievable comeback situation where you beat PSG 6-1 to go through to the Champions League next round.
That happened.
Yeah, it's still been circulating, and then you return to normal everyday life in La Liga, and you lose to Deportivo La Coruña 2-1, putting a massive dent in your title hopes. This has been the problem with Barcelona this year. When they're on, they're on. They're frighteningly good. They're phenomenal. They attack in numbers. They're fearless. But when they're off, they're just off the boil a little bit. And it's been far too often this year. They've been so inconsistent at times. And now they've allowed Real Madrid to get themselves back in front, top of La Liga with a game in hand. Real Madrid on the opposite end of the scale. They went 1-0 down to Real Betis, and the world's most emphatic defensive goal scorer of all time. Sergio Ramos again, 81 minutes. Cristiano Ronaldo leveled the score.
81 minutes, 81st minute. It's like his 89th goal then as a defender, which that's more than a lot of strikers have in their career.
Just write it off. Someone was trying to argue he's the greatest goal-scoring defender. I don't care if someone scored more goals. I'm talking about just the goals and the timing of his goals.
Right. Well, his head has come in at his head has saved Real Madrid a lot of times, and that's actually had a couple bets during last year's Champions League final. That Sergio Ramos.
2 years, 2 Champions League finals running.
Yeah, because I was like, now it's going to be you're not going to get good odds on it.
No,
they're going to expect it. They're going to have probably better odds for Ramos to score a header than Ronaldo to actually score a goal in regulation. My point, my question being, so he's the greatest goal-scoring defender of all time. Where is he? I don't care about ranking. I'm just saying, like, where does he hold up as a defender?
I'd say maybe like at least top 10, top 20.
So he's doing his job.
Yeah, he's still a good defender. He's a little irrational.
Well, also a good bet is to have him sent off during the Champions League final.
He's a little irrational. Sometimes he gets caught up in the spotlight of defending and wants to make the last-ditch slide tackle instead of just holding his position.
How I play FIFA.
Yeah, but I mean that's fine. I mean the guy's made a pretty good career out of it. World Cup winner, Champions League winner, La Liga winner. Yeah, he's definitely going to go down as one of the most decorated and probably one of the most remembered of all time because of his goal scoring. It's not often you could be like the way John Terry's often remembered as well. He's a phenomenal defender, but John Terry was a phenomenal goal scorer for Chelsea when they needed him.
Oh, he knew how to score.
I could see the wheels turning.
Ask his teammate.
I was thinking, where is he going with this? Straight to the bedroom.
Of course, why not? I can't not bring that up.
So back to Barcelona.
Yes.
If you're looking for a reason, the only reason is that it's been right there in front of you. They're inconsistent this year. There's something just a little off. But when they're on, Jesus Christ, like that's why I think they're still. That's why, in my opinion, they're favourites to win the Champions League now because there's no harder adversity that they could come up against than what they just came up against.
Wrong, Bayern.
Interesting.
Which means they have no shot because I'm saying Bayern, but Bayern. Enrique's press conference, thankfully subtitled from ESPN.
Solo uno que haya podido vivir lo que hemos vivido esta semana se puede dar cuenta de lo que significa, pero los profesionales ya sabemos que nadie regala nada y que los puntos iban a costar muchísimo. Ahora entramos en el tramo final de la temporada, últimas jornadas en las que los equipos que van por abajo suelen ganar muchos más puntos que en todas las jornadas anteriores y no va a haber partido fácil para nadie en la clasificación y a eso nos aferramos, a pensar que todavía vamos a tener enfrentamientos directos con nuestros rivales y que tenemos que hacer un tramo final de temporada muy bueno para poder optar a los títulos.
All right, so he makes two, actually, I think, pretty sound points. And look, most of the press conferences that we grab are very, very standard.
Yeah.
They have the same. I like grabbing Wenger's press conferences because I always try to find why. And I think he always gives a really funny reason as to why. I used to love grabbing my favorite of all time, Van Gaal's press conferences, because just his demeanor towards him was unbelievable. But in Enrique's case, he said we have to play perfect to win any titles to end the season.
Yep.
But he does make the point. They do play Real Madrid, and unless they were to lose another game in La Liga next weekend, I will not count out Barcelona to win a La Liga title. until that El Clasico happens. I think Real Madrid is the favorite to win the next El Clasico. I think they probably will win the next El Clasico. If it's another draw, it's a win for Real Madrid in that sense. As you noted, in the first El Clasico of the season, 1-1, Real Madrid beat Barcelona. They looked like the better team the entire game, or match, I should say. So it's a standard press conference, but you have to keep that in mind is, a 2-1 loss to Deportivo is terrible and kind of weird because when I got the update,
yeah, how does that happen?
I thought they were going to go and smash La Liga Deportivo. I thought they were going to win 17-0 based off what happened on Wednesday. But, we've seen this happen not with teams not like Barcelona. A lot of teams like Leicester City, for example, who played phenomenal in the Champions League, did not look good in the Premier League.
Yeah, it's a tough and rigorous schedule to consistently play at that standard. This is why, in order to compete and go on and do things such as the treble or the double, which, by the way, I think is getting harder and harder in world football. I think you'll see less triples, like trebles and doubles as you go forward, including the Champions League, because to try and mount that challenge when the leagues are getting more and more competitive, when the teams are getting better and better, it takes a perfect season to go on and win a La Liga or a Premier League and a Champions League. It's just
in those senses, because I think teams like PSG and Bayern.
No, exactly. But I'm saying, like, if PSG and Bayern will win, they'll be more likely because their leagues are less competitive.
Right.
But to win like a La Liga now, especially in Barcelona, not collectively being more competitive, but you have to beat out Real Madrid twice almost to go on and win it because they're going to be there or thereabouts in the Champions League and La Liga. So the reason I'm getting to this is because when you look at Barcelona's starting lineup against Deportivo, they made some changes. Like they had Denis Suarez come in, they had Andre Gomez starting, and when you look at the team that they had up against PSG, their midfield played very well. And they started to, they tried to rest Alexis Iniesta, Rakitic, and those guys who need a little bit of a breather. But then Luis Enrique saw that the standard wasn't the same. They were 1-0 down at half time, and then on 55 minutes, they made a triple, or 58 minutes, they made a triple change, took off Arda Turan, Andre Gomez, brought on Rakitic and Iniesta. So that's where I think there's a little bit of a difference between Real Madrid and Barcelona. I actually would trust Real Madrid to play without their star players more than I would trust Barcelona at the moment in those game-by-game basis, because I think that consistency is something that Real Madrid, despite their minor snag recently, I mean, let's not forget they went a ridiculous amount of games without losing because they were able to drag out results. Barcelona, I feel when they're not at the top of their game, when they're not flowing and hitting every single mark, they're beatable. But when they're at the top, they're almost unbeatable.
They've lost one Champions League match in the last 21. You realize that's, I mean, you're talking about the top talent in the world.
Yeah.
So La Liga, comparatively, they've lost like what, 2 of the last 40?
Real Madrid.
Real Madrid.
Real
Madrid.
Very true. And that's where I think people will often, everyone's got such a short memory in world football and in sports in general because Real Madrid haven't looked as good recently. They immediately forget that this is the sort of circumstance they come up against. Like, they're able to get out. The thing about Real Madrid is you're always going to trust Real Madrid to drag out a 1 or 2-1 victory more than you'll trust Barcelona to do it. Because Barcelona, when they win, it's often
they win
in style.
big. They don't
5-6-1.
That goes across the whole sports spectrum, though. One of the things you can always look at to determine how good a team really is how many close wins do they have. Yeah. And the teams that are 8-2 in close games or 1-goal games usually know how to pull it out last second, as that disgusting innuendo goes. But I'm saying the terms that teams that beat opponents badly. In this case, I'm just echoing the exact same thing you're saying, so I'm just going to finish up and go.
But when
Real Madrid didn't look good at all throughout the Champions League. I say that comparatively last season, and they won the Champions League. They didn't even look good in the final, and they won the Champions League.
When you look at Barcelona's run of results before this loss, 6-1 PSG, 5-1 Celta Vigo, 6-1, I believe, Sporting Gijon. Smashing teams. High on confidence. It's the games that they are asked to play outside their comfort zone just a little bit. That's where they struggle, and that's where the best teams drag out those 1 or 2-1 victories when they're when they're trying to go on and win a competition. So that's why my money's still going to be on Real Madrid, and that's why when everyone was tweeting at me a couple of weeks ago, I understood that it was going to be a lot closer than what I was leaning towards. But I still fancy Real Madrid because I've watched them closely this year.
Champions League or?
In La Liga.
La Liga, yeah. No,
when everyone was asking me, oh, you're not so confident now, and I was like, yeah, Barcelona are making it a lot tighter, but they still have to win out. They still have to consistently try and not drop points, and they've fallen at the first hurdle already. So let us know what you think. What's happened with Barcelona from champagne to shite in the space of 3 to 4 days?
I get that phrase.
Yeah, it's an easy one.
That makes sense.
Jason, one day you're the cock of the walk, the other day you're the feather dust.